Hi, everybody. So here we are on a Tuesday. It's 11 a.m. And I hope that people can find this link. I was hearing that some people couldn't see it. Again, kind of new to this, but aren't we all? We're just trying to get along and learn. So today, I said in the description for this that I was going to pull some cards for people, and I did make a list of those people I was going to pull for. And I was also going to talk about goals versus dreams. So, goals versus dreams. And I don't mean the type of dream where you fall asleep. Hi, Amy. Where you fall asleep and that type of dream, or daydreaming, or whatever. I mean the type of dream where you can see yourself, like you weigh out your hopes, right? Your wants. And then your goal is kind of like that drive to get you there. Well, this is also, we've entered into the season of the element of wood. And I think this is very important to think about because, well, according to Eastern beliefs and Feng Shui and all of these different Asiatic cultures, let's think of wood as being strength, but yet flexible, okay? And with that flexibility, we can sway in the wind. No matter what comes at us, we will bend in the wind, right? It's only when we are at our most rigid and we forget to actually provide nutrients to our branches that we will break. So right now, we need to feel, hi Dominique. So right now, we need to feel our roots growing, and we need to feel that those nutrients that are going upward throughout us into our branches and reaching for our hopes and our dreams and a new rebirth, a new season. Remember to be flexible, okay? That is a very hard thing and a very difficult thing that we're all dealing with at the moment because we all have these things that we want to do. We all have this drive to get things done and we want it done our way. So, that being said, I would like to go into something. Remember, this is about goals versus dreams, and I'm actually going to use myself as an example. And I'm not going to go off on some diatribe about, oh, today is so great, it's so rainy, it's so blah, 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 etc. No, I think that you need to know a little bit about me. And if you can gather anything from my personal life experience or history up to this point and apply it to what is going on right now for you, then I've done my job. Okay? Now, I moved to New York. And well, first off, I started reading poems when I was about 15, 16. But I pushed that aside, that interest, that ability, and I decided to go to art school in New York City. And I stayed in New York City until, oh man, I don't know, about 23 years. Everything I did, I fought. I fought tooth and nail for. I was in the professional fine art field. I worked in museums. I worked for different nonprofit art organizations. I was in galleries, etc., etc. And my goal was to be a professional artist. My dream, my hope was to be a known professional artist. I had forgotten and pushed aside all of the palmistry and pushed down that empathic side of me and that feeling side of me in order to just allow ego to push through and be like, oh, I want to be a name, I want to paint, I want to have my solo shows, I want to succeed, I want to have wealth, I want to have gain, right? And it bit me in the butt. You know, as they say, the universe kind of has a way of picking up that needle off that record and setting it back down wherever it wants to, right? Play it over again, move it around. Well, a lot of things, I'll just call them adversities, happened to me, and it was one after the next. And it was just test after test after test, to the point where my container, my body, I became physically ill. Hi, Nikita. And so when my body became physically ill, then the emotional started to break down. And I started to feel that part of me again that I had pushed down so hard. And it came through with this huge, like, floodgate. That crack was just like, it just gave way like a dam, right? And it was overwhelming. And the only thing I had left to my name that was mine was a carload of things that I didn't really even need. My cat, Kitty Girl, and myself, what made me me. So I come back to Ohio from New York City after being there for 23 years in the fine art field. And as you know, Ohio, well, I have family here. I was here until I was about 18, right? And it's just not the mecca of fine arts if you are going to be a professional artist. So I felt very down. I was very wounded. I was very open, right? And throughout this whole time, I kept trying to figure out the difference between hopes, dreams, goals. What did I want to do? What should I do? And then there was an epiphany. I started looking at my hands, and it all came back. That is why I was feeling. That is why, in my rationale, the universe was like, wake up. Hello, we got to get that out of here. You're not meant to be here right now. I got redirected. For what reason? My eyes are open. I'm full on willing to accept wherever my life takes me at this point in time. So when it comes to my goal, this is where I question if it's really necessary to have one. I guess you could say that my own personal goal is to help people with my, to help them, aid them in any way that I possibly can. Because through my own beliefs and my empathic side of me, I feel that we all need to support each other on some level. And we need to embrace our differences, and we need to embrace those fears that everybody has. And we need to be humane because we are humans. And we need to recognize that everything on this planet is living. So we need to respect each other, and we need to respect everything. And that is the epiphany that I had. And I was fortunate enough to realize if that's my goal, well, then what's my dream? Well, my dream kind of blended with a hope. And that hope is what I'm doing right now. That my hope is that you can wean some kind of your own experience and identify the things that you're going through based on what I am saying. And I hope it's applicable to you. I truly am, because to be honest with you, it took a lot for me to open up. And obviously, I didn't say everything that happened to me, but know that I was broken and I was a wreck, right? And but here it comes down to one thing. Now, when we have these hopes and we have these dreams and we have these wants and wishes, okay? In palmistry, if you're right-handed, your right hand is your current life. If you're left-handed, your left hand is your past life. Well, everything that we have gone through is on our energy from life to life. Okay? Everything, all those experiences are kind of like ground in and braided into who and what we are as an energy from life to life. So if we are, how do I put this? If we feel comfortable in a situation. If we keep going to the electrified cheese like a rat, because hey, it's cheese and I like cheese, right? And you keep getting zapped, but you can only see the cheese, that, my friend, is a rut. It's because it's a familiar pattern. It's a familiar pattern, and therefore your goal is only to get the cheese. You ignore the fact that it hurts you when you try to get the electrified cheese. You just see the cheese. So, is it okay to have a goal? You have to identify why you want that goal. Is it okay to have a dream and a hope? Absolutely. But shouldn't you work on it? Does that then make it a goal? No. You just need to embrace the fact that the universe, source power, God, whatever your personal beliefs are, kind of has a say in nudging all of us as to where we're going to end up and how we're going to use those gifts that we have that we may or may not have identified yet. So, this is what I'm going to say. And it's 11:11. Yay, 11:11. I did say that I was going to pull some cards for people. And I'm just going to say one more thing. Now, if you get into a rut, like let's say you like Sprite, and you can't get enough Sprite, and I use this parable with a lot of clients, and you don't know why you love Sprite, right? And you ask somebody, hey, when you're coming home, can you bring me a Pepsi on your way home? I mean, you ask them, bring me a Sprite, but they bring you Pepsi, right? Sorry about that confusion. They bring you a Pepsi and says Sprite. Well, you might have this completely irrational reaction. Like, I don't want that Pepsi. I want Sprite. I said, bring me a Sprite. You don't really understand why you hate Pepsi so much. They were only trying to help, right? And they said, well, maybe that's the only soda they had and you wanted soda. Well, maybe in a past life, you had the experience of somebody that loved you dearly, absolutely dearly, and that you loved and treated you so well and respected you. All they did, hi Carla, all they did was drink Sprite. So now in this life, you just love Sprite. And whereas somebody that treated them horribly or treated you horribly, or maybe even did something horrible to them, they drank Pepsi. So when your friend brings a Pepsi home to you and you ask for a Sprite, you're like, what? You have this completely irrational reaction. Now that also goes with the rat to the electrified cheese. You keep wanting and wanting and wanting that cheese because it's familiar and you know you like it on some level. And you are willing to get zapped, and you just kind of squash that experience down in order to get to that cheese because that's what you know is there. Well, that, my friends, is a rut. And that's where hopes and dreams and goals and disappointment all come into play. Now, a rut, it's very hard to get out of, which is why you have to open yourself up and not have any fear of the unknown. It took me a while to understand that, given my own experiences. I just wasn't, I do still paint. I am still active in the community of the fine art field, but I'm baby stepping it. I've devoted most of my life now to doing what I'm doing right now, which is to reading poems. But I'm going to leave you with this because we have, I think, 4 people I'm going to read cards for. Now, is this making sense to anybody? I see on the side here some comments. If you want to dive in, but I do have one little thing that I thought of. Now, do you just want to go blandly or even blindly into those places where you've already been? Or do you want to go boldly where you've never gone before? Which one are you going to learn from? Which one is truly going to benefit you? And which one is going to leave you with a goal and a hope and a dream? I think going boldly. And to do that, you have to center and you have to understand what I preface this whole rant with is the fact that we are in the element of wood right now, which is that we're just starting to feel the nutrients being provided to us through our roots, okay? And we are bringing it up through our trunk, and we are going to spread it out to our limbs. And we're going to be flexible. The wind is going to hit us. The storms are going to hit us. Lightning may even strike us. But it's only when we stop giving to ourselves and being open to acceptance of things that our limbs won't have any nutrients and they will die off and break. Remember that. Go boldly where you've never gone before, my friends. Okay? So, boldly. Yes, Dominic. Go boldly where you have never gone before. You're going to get through this. Hang in there. Think of yourself as a tree. All right. So, I thought this would be longer than that. It's only, what, 17 after 11? And thanks for coming in, everybody. I'm going to start to pull some cards for people. I made a little list here. I didn't really ask questions. Sometimes I make have people confirm spots, and I will make up some random question that you have to answer in order to do that. But Carol, is Carol here? I do not see Carol. Well, I'm going to do a reading for Carol anyway. All right. So this is a cold reading, meaning I have no information from any of you guys except for Dominique, because she knows what I'm talking about. But for Carol, I'm going to pull a Lenormand card. And with Lenormand cards, I am an intuitive reader, which means that, yeah, I do know the symbols, yeah, I do know the suits and everything, but they connect with me on a different level. So I also want to say, and this is really tacky, but in this world of where we're having to take care of each other, I do have a quote-unquote virtual tip jar. And that is available in the description of the event. And any and all gratuities, meaning tips, if you feel any of this is worthy or helpful at all, make it helpful to me too. Pay it forward, people, because that's what it all is about in this lifetime. All right, so Carol, Lenormand deck, one card from this deck, all right? And this deck is called the Mirror Truth, if you like the imagery. Okay. We have the Child card, all right? Which means that since this is the only card from this deck that I am pulling for Carol, this is her current situation. That there is this inner child. We all have one, right? But we are pushing it down too far in order to get through the situations that we have to get through at the moment. I am going to point out that there is a little light. So you can kind of see your way, but you're also facing a lot of dark and your eyes are closed. Do not reflect too much on the situations that you are going through right now, because it may be overwhelming and that light can only burn for so long, and then you're going to be in the dark. It will get overwhelming. All right? So how do we change this? If this is what's currently going on with Carol, how do we change this for Carol? Well, I'm going to pull an oracle an oracle card from an oracle deck right now. And this is called the Whispers of Healing. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Did anybody happen to look at the playlist I made for today? I listen to it quite a lot when I'm doing meditating and reading palms. So this is for Carol. This is an oracle card. Mental repetition. It goes with the child card from the Lenormand deck. Okay, Carol, you have to get out of your head. Get back into nature. You are literally in that maze in your mind, and you are just playing things over and over and over again. You are the one that can break the cycle. You have to understand that you have the strength to get through it, not anybody else. That light in that other card, which I already shuffled, I apologize. But she, that little child, had a light to guide her way, okay, to get to a smoother pasture, a better side of the fence, to heal herself, right? Find herself in the dark. But you keep thinking about all those things that have happened. Center and ground. And I understand that being indoors and being the self-isolation stuff is really hard, especially if the people that are making you have all this mental repetition and triggering all these things inside of you, they're right next to you. So, yeah, it's quite a mess, right? So I'm going to put that back. And Carol, if you have any questions, I kind of want to talk to you outside of this, all right? You can message me, and I'm going to pull another card for you later, because that's a little heavy, right? We don't need that kind of thing. Oh, let's see. Get that off my computer. All right. So next, we have Dominique. Hi, Dominique. Yes, I said boldly. Boldly go. Let's quote some Star Trek, right? I love Star Trek, by the way. Okay. So Dominique, for you, I'm going to pull 3 Lenormand cards. I also am available for private online or phone readings. Just message me or even call me, email me, whatever you guys feel like doing. This is for Dominique. Fish card. Now, this is where you're at right now. This means business. I tried to say this about you before, Dominique, and you thought it was more about romance. Remember that? But if this card has popped up again, there is some kind of situation that you need to think about. If it comes to a change in career or enhancing your career, or maybe not enhancing it, but changing and tweaking just a little bit those things that you do in order to get through the time that we are in. All this is floating around in your head like a little school of fishies, okay? I also want to point out that it is the King of Diamonds. I had to see the light. I usually wear glasses. So you have attained wealth. You have attained wisdom. You have the ability to know how to change your situation. But how are you going to do it? You sit on a throne. You have all this wealth, meaning knowledge, and you have the know-how to get things done. You have to believe in yourself. So this is who you are right now, right? Now this is what's affecting you. The cross. Now, if I can do this right, this is what's affecting you. This isn't actually a religious statement. It's more of like, it stands for a divine situation. Remember what I said about, well, I'm sorry to say it, Dominique, but with me, even, with me, I was doing something that my heart was into, that I felt I had to do. I wanted that goal. I had to do it, right? But the divine, God, universe, source energy, whatever's out there, had a different plan. So this is what's affecting this. Okay, and you're right, Dominique. I pulled the fish card on myself on accident. But anyway, so I also want to say, since there is this higher influence, what's going on right now, you probably feel a little lost, maybe a little overwhelming, a little confusing, right? And in the corner, we also have the Six of Wands, right? Or Six of Clubs, same diff. So you are trying to look at it from every possible angle, but you just can't pick one stick. Remember, pick up sticks? I want to say this to you for some unknown reason. The old game, pick up sticks, right? Well, you can't find the right stick without making them all topple. Okay, so that's what is affecting this, is a fear and a little bit of confusion. And then over here, this is what's affecting the cross. Now, the stork card is not actually about having a baby. A lot of people see this and they're like, oh, I don't want to have another child. No, it is about change. So everything that is going on with your cards really literally is about change. Now, also, it's the Queen of Hearts. So things are changing for you and you're not really going to have control over it. Do not panic. Embrace it. Don't go down fighting. You can either go kicking and screaming or you can just grab it by the hand and say, okay, come on, I'll do it. All right? This is where you have to do it. Queen of Diamonds, I'm sorry. Queen of Hearts down on the bottom. So there's going to be a lot of emotion, but take that emotion that you're going to have and point it toward the situation. Use your heart to guide you so that your personal interests are met. All right? Now, does that make any sense to you, Dominique? Let's shuffle a little bit here. Okay, I got some hearts. All right, Dominique. Good. Happy that helped. All right, so now, Carla. Hi, Carla. Yeah, I always see 11:11 too whenever it's on the clock. I don't understand that. I always see 5:55 too. Okay. So again, these are cold readings, meaning I don't really know what's going on, except for Dominique. Okay. Carla, you ready? Okay. The dog. So this is you, remember? This is all about loyalty. This is you being your own best friend. And this is kind of like you standing against the wind, standing against that adversity, trying to find who you are, knowing that you, and I also feel implied, I kind of feel, I'm fumbling over words. That's how you got me, Carla. Okay. So I also want to say that dogs, oftentimes, their bark is worse than their bite. Remember that. I think it's going to apply to the other cards. All right. Also down here in the corner, we happen to have the Ten of Hearts, which means there is a joy to this. Whatever situation you're going through, Carla, there is a happiness to it. So whether it be obedience, which I don't really think it is, I think it's more of like a best friend kind of thing, whether it be you to yourself or someone near you. This is what's going on. This stands for you right now with the happy card. Now, don't panic. This is what's affecting this loyalty card, best friend card, right? It's the Coffin card. Don't panic because it looks like a death card. No. This card is about letting things lay where they are. Just don't sweep them under the rug, but just say, okay, look, I've been there. I've done that. We're not going to go over this again. Let it go. Let it go. And I also want to point out, I'm going to try to go like that. Do you see the owls here? And I'm going to try to bend it to the light a little bit. Do you see the owls? So there is a form of wisdom that is affecting this, and that you know that you need to just let it lay. Just let it, that's it, right? But it's also hard to do that because we have our emotions, and our emotions get wrapped up all the time into everything because we are humans. It's just part of who we are, right? Also, we also have the Nine of Diamonds, and intuitively, I'm going to tell you to not think about the things that have happened versus the good versus the bad. Don't do it, because then you will be kind of creating a scale system, a pro and con thing, and you don't need that right now. You just need to be loyal to yourself and find those people around you that are loyal to you and also loyal to themselves, because then they won't be needy. All right. So then, third, clouds. This is what's affecting the second card, the Coffin card. Now, the clouds. If we can look at this imagery, all right, again, we have a tree. And remember, I started this whole thing talking about wood as the element, is what's going on right now with the change of the season. We see this tree. There's not a lot of growth on this tree, which means it could break, right? So there's fear involved with all this. But remember what I said about that strength? And bark is worse than its bite when it comes to this card. On this, we see a dragon. Now that dragon has the ability to either hold that fire in, or it can just exhale and level the playing field. Leave everything in ash and cinder and all that, right? You have the ability to do that. But it's a lot of conflict involved. So for you, Carla, I'm going to pull a fourth card. A fourth Lenormand card as an outcome card. I don't normally do this on these types of online things, okay? But if you were to keep doing this, this is how things are going to end out. Mice. The mice card. Literally, you will feel that you are almost minute compared to the other problems at hand. You're going to have a lot of difficulty seeing the forest for the trees. You're going to have a lot of difficulty focusing. And also, because it's the Seven of Clubs, there's a lot of angry energy involved because you're going to be trying so hard to change the situation. This is where I'm going to go back to your first card and say, remember, it's okay to be your own best friend. There's strength in that. Recognize those parts of you that have been pushed away either by yourself or by society. And I hope that that helped, because I got to keep moving on. It's 11:34. Okay. So let's shuffle these bad boys again. Carla, did that help at all? Okay. I hope it did. Take a deep breath. Those are some pretty heavy cards, ladies. You know, why don't we get a man on here? I would like to read a guy's cards. Last time I did have a Jason on here. Maybe it was the first time. That was quite an interesting read. So if any of you ladies know of any guys that need a card reading, send them on over, all right? So, now we have Loretta. Is Loretta on here by any chance? I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Now, Loretta was an add-on because she asked specifically to be included. I feel there is a need for her to have whatever guidance could be provided. I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm saying we all need a little guidance, right? Just like we all read our horoscopes. That kind of situation. If anything can help, here we are. Yes, I refer to myself as a we. I don't know why. Loretta, this is for you. The book. So, learning something new, whether it be changing from old patterns, learning and seeing things in a different way, going back to school, changing things up, right? This is where you're at right now, okay? And also the 10 of Diamonds, which means that you are in a healthy place right now while doing that, okay? And then we have the Fish, which, as we know from earlier reading, is all about business. So you are learning something to go toward business, and that's great, right? Also, King of Diamonds, so there is a lot of wealth potential involved in this, which is good. And then, for you, again, we have the Clouds. So, since it is, as I said with Carla, the tree doesn't really have a lot of growth to it. That doesn't mean that you won't. That just means that since you have this dragon effect about you, don't shoot yourself in the foot when things don't work out quickly enough, right? Because sometimes we are our own worst enemy. So what can we take from all of this? Because that's the last reading that I said I was going to do for today. Remember, decide. Decisions are up to you, okay? All the options are out there in the universe. All the options. But you have the decision, ultimately, to listen to your gut and follow your heart and to open up those things that you have squashed down so hard. And which leads to my belief that you can either go blandly and blindly through the rut, through the same things, through the same places that you've always been, or you can go boldly to those places that you've never been before. Be brave. That is key to what's going on right now. And I'm going to end this a little early, just a little bit early. And I want to say thank you. And I hope you tune in again. I'm going to keep doing this as long as we are in isolation. Check out the playlist that's in the event page. Might enjoy it. Give me some feedback. I might do it again. And take care of you. Remember that no matter what, you're loved, not just by me, but by a higher authority, God, universe, source, whatever your beliefs are, because you're here, and that proves it. And I don't mean here online, I mean here, existing. You take care. Bye-bye.